to Blue Jays Today, where we've got our second Free Agent Frenzy live stream on this beautiful Friday evening for y'all. We're going to talk about the latest news and rumblings and what have you over the past week about your Toronto Blue Jays, free agency trades, etc. We did actually have something happen right before we go live. The non-tender deadline just passed, and the Blue Jays, spoiler, they tendered everybody. So everybody's coming back. Nobody's getting cut. But there are some interesting names out there that did get cut that had just got added to the free agency pool. We're going to be taking a look at those as well. Some of the latest kind of pop culture stuff going on with Blake Snell calling out Vladdy while he was gaming. You got other stuff too, like Bichette rumors with the Red Sox, blah, blah, blah. We'll get into it all. But before we do, make sure to hit that like button, smash that subscribe button. Also hit that hype button if you're watching this after the fact. Guys, I'm your host, Adam Peddle.
I'm your host, Nicholas Playalog. I see Tate Brown in here saying Nick for GM. I would love that. But you know what? I will say that Ross and Marca, they've done decently well the past couple years. We gave them a lot of slack, but you know what? When you go to the World Series, I got to give you your flowers. So if the job does happen to open up in the next few years, I'll throw my name in there for consideration. But for right now, I'm okay with the guys who are currently running the ship.
It's kind of funny. We actually have a Q&A a little bit later. I was already reading some of your questions. By the way, if you want to submit a question, I put the link pinned at the chat right there. So submit it there on the Google form. But someone was asking, if you guys were a GM, and I'm like, wow, that's pretty much what we do every single podcast. We pretend to be GMs, and we give our predictions of what we do. And hopefully you guys enjoy it, and we all hope that these moves are going to happen. And honestly, I kind of find, though, whenever we say we want certain things, like we want to get a reliever, we want to get a pitcher, we want to get a position player any given offseason for the last 4 years, usually they do go out and they do that in some capacity. Not always the biggest guys, but they do execute those guys.
I mean, listen, all the rumblings that we've been hearing up until this point, I know they haven't made any big major moves yet, but really nobody's made any big major moves yet, other than that crazy Baltimore trade and then the one Iglesias signing with
Josh Naylor.
And Josh Naylor, you're right. That's effectively all that's happened so far, so it's not like we're being caught flat-footed or anything like that. But everything that we are hearing about how they are targeting a high-end bullpen arm. They are targeting the biggest bats on Friday. They're looking at getting Bichette back. They're also looking at starting pitching. Everything that we've heard up until this point, I'm like, check, double check. This sounds good to me, and I'm very happy with at this current juncture. We've still got to execute it, but the plan, the offseason plan, feels like it's strong. It's in place. We got to actually do it now. Yeah. But I like where we're headed.
And there's no real excuses not to do it. And honestly, after having Bob Nightingale on the podcast, by the way, if you haven't checked it out, please go check out that podcast after you're done listening to this live stream. He gave me a lot of confidence that the rest of the league is looking at the Blue Jays a lot differently. He literally, and I have a clip coming out tomorrow about it, quote, he literally said the Blue Jays in the before this season were looked at as your leverage. Everyone saw that. Your leverage. We know you're going to throw a lot of money in, but we know my guy really wants to go to this team. You're the Blue Jays. You had 74 wins last year. What are you, right? We're going to use your money as leverage, get him a bigger payday. But now it's not that way anymore. Now the clubhouse was on full display during the World Series, and that's really important. The clubhouse, what they had to say about the city of Toronto was on full display. And then you pair that up with the money, now all of a sudden Toronto becomes very attractive. Sure,
man. And Bob Nightingale, I mean, he's based out of Arizona, and we've had a lot of criticism in the past about some of the big media of MLB, big American media of MLB, looking down on Canada, looking down on Toronto, looking down on the Blue Jays, right? And not even just as a team, but as a city and as a country. And he was coming out afterwards talking about how awesome Toronto is, how he loved seeing, stuff. And this is a big media guy, right? Bob Nightingale, big media guy right there. So it does feel like even just from the outside looking in, that the whole perception of Toronto is starting to change to a more positive light right now. And that's just bound to happen when you're having guys crying after the fact about how much they love this team and just overall going to the World Series in general. So we are in a very good spot. Let's immediately start off with, you want to start with the back end of the bullpen, or where would you like to start today?
Well, I see a lot of people in the chat talking about it, so let's bring that one right out of the gate, which is they did make a move today. They made a signing.
True,
it's not a big signing. Let's not try to blow this one out of the water. It is a minor league signing. It is Carlos Mendoza, everybody. He is a AA, AAA utility guru, as Emily puts it, from the Tigers organization. Carlos Mendoza signed with Toronto Blue Jays, according to his Instagram. It was kind of cool. He was signing a piece of paper, and then covering up a piece of paper was the Blue Jays logo. I think we can all guess where he's going with that, going to the Toronto Blue Jays. But apparently finally, the word on the street, if you're not familiar with Carlos Mendoza, and I'll be honest, I wasn't either. I don't know AA, AAA guys in other organizations very well. Carlos Mendoza is a winning baseball player according to his prospect rank. This is kind of like a screenshot of his prospect bio. He's annoying in the batter's box and a pesky on the base pass. He puts the bat on the ball. He works walks. He is a pest to pitchers everywhere. That sounds like the Toronto Blue Jays right there all year long, being pesky and pesky to pitchers, even if you are the ninth guy or the guy coming off the bench. No, the one downside is he doesn't have much pop. His defense isn't really that great, which doesn't really fit in the Blue Jays as well. But eventually, they're projecting that he will be useful at some point to a big league team. And we look over at his numbers right here from 2024 and 2025 right here. He had an 803 OPS, a batting average of 287. This is between AA and AAA, and an on base of nearly 400. So he definitely likes to get on base. But yeah, there really is no slug at all. The slugging is only 409. So very low. But Carlos Mendoza, I mean, hey, if you want to one day come up and if we need a filler role and you're ready to be pesky, that's all I really ask for. If you're coming up, don't be an automatic out. If you want to be pesky, sure, go for it. I mean, whatever.
Look, man, I will never hate on them filling out the minor league system even more, because having depth is never a bad thing, and ultimately this costs you next to nothing. It's just a completely free move to make. You see something in this kid that you think maybe one day you might get some type of bench performance out of him. Great. I love it. And I'm not, at this current juncture, after seeing what Nathan Lucas did, gonna sleep on anyone in the AAA farm system, okay? At any given moment of time, there could be a late bloomer, and then bang, here he is, batting second in the World Series. You saw that from Nathan Lucas. Wild story right there.
You never
Not
know.
saying that that's what's going to happen here
Right.
with Carlos Mendoza, but again, depth is a good thing. This is more depth. This is somebody down there that should a couple injuries arise, well, then maybe there he is.
Hey, you know who's a minor league signing? Ernie Clement. You know what I mean?
Also that.
Just became something out of nothing, right? Literally thought this, and when he first came over to the team, and I think most people thought this way, I feel like I'm not the only one, thought nothing. Like, who's Ernie Clement? Oh, this guy got cut by the Guardians? You know, nothing. He bloomed into something. So hopefully, maybe, shout out to you, Carlos. Welcome to the Blue Jays. Hopefully you blossom into something. But that's all the real moves right now for the Blue Jays. Now, I do see some more people talking about it in the chat. Some more kind of transactions have transpired because the deadline has passed. And there are some names out there that we recognize as Blue Jay fans that have been non-tendered, a.k.a. Mr. Alec Manoa, former Cy Young 3.
R.I.P. to Alec Manoa, man.
Yeah, non-tendered by the Braves after, and I was telling this, Nick, right before this, and he already knew this too, but I just realized today he changed his profile picture. It was a Photoshop picture of him when he used to be wearing a Blue Jays jersey, photoshopped it to the Braves. I don't know what he's going to Photoshop it to next now.
Well, the reason he had to Photoshop it is because he was never actually, I don't know if he was ever in a Braves jersey,
no.
but like he definitely was never on the team, right? So, Alec Manoa gets picked up by Atlanta after, getting, cut by the Toronto Blue Jays, and then does effectively nothing with them, and then now gets non-tendered. And at this current juncture of time, like we were kind of talking off camera about this, maybe somebody picks up Alec Manoa and tosses him a little baby minor league deal, but he is not a major league ball player anymore. He's not an MLB player right now. He's not an MLB player anymore. That could and probably will actually be, in fact, more times than not, the end of his career. We will most likely never see Alec Manoa play in MLB again. Kind of wild.
Yeah, it's crazy when you go from Cy Young 3 in, 2022, I believe it was.
2022.
And, literally 3 years later, 3 years. Gone, right? And people are saying, like, well, why don't we just pick him up? I mean, unless he hates us, I would. He literally photoshopped the day after he got cut by the Blue Jays to a Braves jersey. I feel like there's a little bit of animosity in that decision.
Well, there might be some animosity, and it felt like there was at certain times, even when he was with the team, a little bit of a deterioration to that relationship. That being said, though, I think he wants to play baseball still, and if you still want to play baseball and you get no offers, like you're going to take the only offer that you have on the table, whether you like it or not, right? So
I'd offer him a minor league contract that costs next to nothing.
Costs absolutely next to nothing.
Costs the same as Carlos Mendoza, maybe a little bit more.
Throw him in there in AAA Buffalo where he's been before. I wouldn't be against it for certain. It is just a crazy fall from grace because at the beginning of 2025, we were here talking about it. We weren't the only ones. A lot of you folks were looking at it as well, and a lot of MLB analysts thinking that, okay, the rotation is going to rely on Alec Manoa coming back and being good and being healthy.
Yeah.
And then that went out the window pretty damn quickly.
Trey Savage kind of changed that narrative a little bit.
Trey Savage changed that a little bit for sure.
Yeah.
But I mean, Alec Manoa was effectively done and dusted by, well before Trey Savage even kind of came into this mix. And now, he's not on an MLB team. So we'll see what happens with it. I wouldn't be shocked if Toronto gives him a call. I also wouldn't be shocked, and I think it's more likely that they don't, to be honest with you. And that he just kind of like, if he does get a deal somewhere else, awesome. That would be great. I would hope that he gets another shot at this. But that could be the end of Alec Manoa.
Yeah. Hey, Alec, wishing you the best, man. I've obviously been following your journey this entire time. I've been seeing how much work you're putting in, and I see you trying to grow as a human being, and I love that, and I think you should continue doing that. Hopefully you could find some success somewhere, but if I were to bank on it, I mean, maybe he gets one more shot, maybe he gets one more kick at the can somewhere in some team like the Rockies, like Pirates, I don't know, like any
it
team.
does feel like someone
will take a shot.
Got to throw a dart at this thing,
right? And
it's okay. Worst case scenario, he just lives in AAA for us. Like, I'd be kind of surprised if somebody didn't do that. Because, again, he is still, even though he's not very healthy, he is still a younger guy. And, how often do you find a younger pitcher who did finish Cy Young 3 a couple years back just available? Right?
Exactly.
It does. It feels strange. So unless there is, underlying concerns about his overall health in general or his attitude or whatever, I would anticipate that somebody's got to give him a look.
Yeah, like a career. And I get it. Like, we are really thinking about the bad times. But if I'm another team looking in, like, dude, again, Cy Young 3, Rookie of the Year 8, MVP 17, All-Star, 3.34 ERA, a whip of 1.1. Like, why not pay this guy the bare minimum of a minor league contract and give him a shot?
And you know what? Actually, Drew Gamer comes in here with a good point. I didn't think about this, but Eric Lauer, somebody who had some really good seasons in MLB, so seriously with Milwaukee, very good. I remember I owned him in fantasy at one point. Then, he gets injured. He has a couple bad ones, out of the league, goes over there across the pond, figures his stuff out, and then gets another shot. Maybe that could be something with Alec Manoa. You want to go play in Japan?
Absolutely.
You want to go, play in Korea? You want to go play, somewhere in, Cuba? Maybe? I don't know where you want to go, but that might actually not be the worst case scenario for you.
Like his baseball days are definitely not over. You know what I mean?
He's going to keep trying, and then the question is whether or not an MLB team is actually going to give him a shot. Maybe not right now, but maybe if you go over and you dominate in the Japanese league, maybe they would.
Yeah,
so,
no, that's fair. Well, best of luck, Alec. I'm wishing you the best. I still have your jersey. I still have the Alec Manoa 6 jersey. I don't know. That'll be like a relic. I'll have to bring that out in like 10 years. Show up to the the baseball dime or Rogers Center, excuse me. People are gonna be like, oh fuck, like. I remember that'll guy.
In 10 years from now, like it's already starting to feel like a bit of a deep cut. But in 10 years, it'll really feel like a deep cut. Like you having an Alec Manoa jersey.
Yeah, it'll be like, but people will be like, holy shit, like. I remember back in the day.
Alec
Manoa.
I know. That's what I mean, man. Like
crazy.
It's going to be, it is going to be kind of like a relic.
It's like whenever I see, not to the same extent, but, a Brett Lowry jersey, I'm like, wow. Because he was a fan favorite at one point. I'm like, damn, like, that was a, throwback. And I've got a Colby Rasmus jersey. Shout out to the King who did not make it to the Hall of Good. Rip. I don't know if you're following that.
I wasn't following along.
He was up for the Hall of Good this week and didn't make it. I'll be honest, I don't think he deserved to be in it anyways, but sucks to suck. But anyways, got that relic in the back of my jersey, or in the back of my closet as well. Let's move on to one more interesting cut. Actually, there's a couple more interesting cuts, and then we'll get on to some of the rumblings of going on around free agency. Adolis Garcia, I saw a couple people comment this. He is now non-tendered by the Texas Rangers, only a few years removed from the World Series run where he was dominant, where he had, 39 homers, 107 RBIs, an OPS of 836, and then in the last 2 seasons, I mean, I wouldn't play this guy either.
Yeah.
But he's been non-tender. They're not willing. That's the thing about arbitration, right? When he entered that arb with that year, it's like, okay, he's going to get paid a lot of money.
Yeah.
He's just not worth that kind of money anymore, and I get the non-tendering. So thoughts on Adolis Garcia? I feel like, again, someone will take a flyer.
Oh, yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I think he'll remain in MLB. I certainly think that, with that upside, you have to do it.
Yeah.
But, from what I was hearing from some Texas fans online, yeah, he just doesn't have it right now.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's a work ethic thing, because how do you go from having, multiple really strong seasons like that in a row to just completely falling off the table? Like,
right.
Was the World Series hangover that bad that it's still lingering to this day? Like, how did that happen?
I could be wrong about this, but I remember, I forget whether it was last year or in the middle of this last season, people were talking about his swing mechanics and how, expert like D Rose, for example. No, not D Rose. Who's the guy on MLB Network? He's really good. You guys let me know in the chat. It starts with a D. He was talking about how, like, he just, like, gives up. Like, his swing mechanics is just sloppy. Like, it's out of sync. There's just no real rhythm to it, and there's, like, no wonder he's not hitting any fastballs, because he just can't get to the ball. Like, his swing mechanics are holding him back. Yeah, so, I mean, unless someone has the answer, then he'll continue to be this bad.
Yeah, and for those of you wondering, well, is this a Toronto Blue Jay target? It could be, but certainly not somebody that I'd be extremely excited about.
Yeah.
Like, he just isn't at that spot anymore where it really moves the needle for me. We have seen them go out and get some kind of weird, unexpected names before. I mean, like, hell, we've had Danny Burgers on this team multiple times before, so I wouldn't put it past them to do something like this.
Yeah.
Just kind of get, one more final additional roster spot, and he can bounce up and down between AAA and the MLB, maybe.
Yeah.
But I feel like he's got a better chance at going somewhere else where it's like you actually get regular playing time, and I don't think you'd get regular playing time.
That's the thing. I think the Blue Jays, they don't need a guy like this. Like, their roster's so built for contact, on base. Let's put the ball in play. Let's be a threat and be pesky like Carlos Mendoza. Every single at bat has got to be pesky. This feels like an automatic, like, I could breathe if I'm an opposing pitcher as of right now until proven otherwise. So I feel like, even the Blue Jays would only offer him like a minor league at best, and I feel like someone else.
Someone will give him a spot on their roster, like a really shitty offense out there. Somebody's bound to do it.
Yeah.
I don't see Toronto being that team. Now, one other individual that did get non-tendered, which I would be extremely interested in, should Toronto want to take a shot at this guy.
Yeah.
This just goes to show the level of luxury that the Dodgers live at a daily basis. They've non-tendered Evan Phillips. Evan Phillips was really good at baseball.
Really
now,
good.
he did have Tommy John on June 4th, so you'd understand that, I don't know exactly what timeline that would put him on to be back and playing baseball.
Like mid next year, probably.
Mid next year, right? Okay, if everything goes according to plan, mid next year. But this guy is phenomenal when he's healthy. He's got a 3.36 ERA. This is out of the bullpen for LA. In the seasons where he has been healthy, I mean, like, you're talking about a really elite setup man right there. Okay, look at that.
He used to be,
2023, where he had a 2.05 ERA in 61.1 innings. 2022, where he had a 1.14 ERA in 63 innings.
Yeah.
And the LA Dodgers, being how fucking just deep they are in every capacity, they just decided to let him go because they can, and they don't need to spend the money there. And let's face it, they'll go and they'll pick up somebody else who's probably better and healthier and everything that in this offseason. Right? And it won't mean anything to them, but to us, I would love to throw a dart on somebody like Evan Williams.
Absolutely.
Or Evan Phillips.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, like, you'd have to wait a while. It'd kind of be like a Chad Green situation when he was coming off Tommy John, and you kind of had to wait till the end of the season to get this guy on your roster. But again, like, more the merrier. I think everybody's going to be looking at Evan Phillips, unless, the reports are out there like Grayson Rodriguez, he's got fucked up bone chips, and like they literally, he can't play baseball anymore. Sidebar, do you hear that they didn't even ask for a medical report, their Angels, when they traded for Grayson Rodriguez?
Okay, see, that's just a mistake.
That's just so dumb.
Yeah, like I guess they got the offer in their inbox, and they're like, this has got to be too good to be true. And just smash the accept button without thinking. Yeah. And maybe it was too good to be true, because the only reason that they'd ever offer that, in my opinion, is because he's got some underlying health issues that just can't be fixed.
That's literally like I'm playing fantasy and someone offers me something like that. I'm like, and then I go check their latest updates. It's like, we'll be out for rest of the season.
Yes,
so,
exactly. Like, what's going on right now?
But regardless, like, unless there's something crazy going on with him, I feel like anybody would be glad to pick up Evan Phillips.
Yes,
and you could honestly sign this guy for like a 2-year deal just like you did with Chad Green, and like have an option year, right? And like feel good about it. So.
Yeah, 100%, man.
Yeah.
So that's the latest in terms of the non-tendering and everything like that. But we are not finished at all when it comes to the rumors and the rumblings of the Toronto Blue Jays. One of the bigger names right now on the free agent market for the back end of the bullpen is the biggest name, actually, is Edwin Diaz. Now, we know that Toronto has already been linked to him previously. But we got an article right here going a little bit deeper into this. John Heyman of the New York Post reported that Toronto has been emerging as an attractive choice for the flamethrower. They've already met with him, and with Iglesias going off the board, going back to Atlanta, it feels like this is the guy if you want to get an elite back-end individual that would actually 100% without, any debate, move Jeff Hoffman out of the closing spot and then, just lengthen out that pen altogether.
Yeah, you want to talk about, circling all the way back to the beginning of this live show when I brought up Bob Nightingale, how Toronto's looking like a really great place to play. Look, I like the wording that John Heyman used right there, emerging as an attractive choice. How many off seasons have you heard Toronto look attractive? I haven't. I've always been heard leverage, and we're stupid to ever think we'd get anybody in the big market. Now we're looking like an attractive choice, and look, we've been always very competitive, especially trying to pry like Mets players away. I think the Mets are still going to be offering money. But if the Blue Jays are offering a little bit more, then they're going to go and get it done. Now, I know that his price tag, there's some rumors out there that it's getting up there. It could be well over $20 million per year for this guy. I don't care. Pay for it. You made a lot of money during the World Series run, and your Rogers Communication. How could you let the World Series window get away from you? You got to go and get a guy like this.
Yeah, exactly. And I know that there's this, I guess, what am I trying to say? Like bias towards bullpen guys. Oh, we can't pay them all that much money because we barely see them, which is fair. I understand it. But this is the bullpen guy. And there's so few individuals that come out of the bullpen that you can rely on a year-to-year basis 100% of the time. It just so happens that Edwin Diaz is one of those individuals. Yep. He's always been pretty healthy, and when he is healthy, he is the best of the best. He's still at the top of his game. I don't want to see Jeff Hoffman in the ninth anymore. I just don't want it. I don't think that you can actively be serious about going and winning a World Series with your closer having a 4.5 ERA and giving up some of the most homers in MLB. That's just, these are not things that mix well. That with World Series aspirations, I don't think that they just don't go together. You have to have somebody back there that can lock that shit down, and that you can feel confident with the best of the best. Ohtani, Mookie Betts, Freeman. Doesn't matter who's up against this guy, because I know that my guy can beat your guy. And
to circle back to that whole like people are complaining like, oh, don't pay relievers too much money. I've completely changed the way I look at contracts and paying players, and I really encourage you guys to look at it this way too. It doesn't matter who's getting the money. What matters is how much money you're spending, and that's what you should be expecting from your team. Blue Jays were top 5 in payroll last year. They were a top 2 team. You paid for a top 5, you got a top 2. Congratulations. Now, the Blue Jays are probably going to increase their payroll if everything's going according to plan here. Probably going to increase the payroll. Might be top 3, might be top 2. Definitely not top 1, but it's going to be up there. Now the expectation for Blue Jays is you got to go back to the World Series, and that's what we're trying to do here. Getting a guy like Edwin Diaz is going to further, execute that plan of getting it locked down in the World Series, right? If the Blue Jays brought it back, and it wasn't Jeff Hoffman there in the World Series, not throwing all on Jeff Hoffman because it's not his fault, but if it was Edwin Diaz, maybe things would be different.
I do. Well, they would.
Yeah, because he probably wouldn't give up a homer.
Would be different, right?
But again, like woulda, shoulda, coulda. I don't want to
It's impossible to do all of that, math and figure all that out. But either way, I do know for certain Edwin Diaz greater than sign Jeff Hoffman. That's not a knock to Jeff Hoffman. That's more of a just admiration of Edwin Diaz and his game. And I do think, to Graham's point right there, who we popping champagne for this year?
Yeah, we got.
I think that would be the champagne popping type thing. That is the best individual available at his position, far and away. Could be a Hall of Fame level closer right there, in the making. Still at a very good age, still with lots of time left. I would pop champagne for Edwin Diaz.
Yeah, what? Let's name those players, because you guys know we had the bottles there. Didn't go that well last year. You kept having to change the names, but what players would you pop bottles? I would agree, Edwin Diaz. I'd say Bichette. Definitely getting back Bichette long term is definitely pop bottle worthy. Obviously, Kyle Tucker. Anybody else you kind of throw out there for a pop and bottle worthy?
I do think, like, there's a couple really good starting pitchers that I would love to have on the Toronto Blue Jays. I mean, Ranger Suarez comes to mind. Like, is he popping bottle worthy? Or, like, his...
I mean, if it's like a 5-year deal or something like that, that's like adding another Kevin Gausman to the team.
That's
right?
true. Yeah, exactly.
Like
we kind of depend on the deal right there. I'm going to have a video coming out tomorrow talking a little bit about Michael King and how I really think that he should be at the tippity top in terms of targets for the Toronto Blue Jays. Phenomenal right there. Don't know if that's necessarily a popping bottle type of guy. We're going to get to it a little bit later, but Toronto maybe in the market for Pete Alonso should they miss out on Bo Bichette. That's kind of a potential popping bottle thing right there for me. After that, I feel like it is kind of a fall off.
Sorry, I was kind of looking at a thing. Did you say Alex Bregman at all?
I did not say Alex Bregman.
But I feel like he won't come. I feel like we're not looking at an Alex Bregman type. But if he did, like, okay, yeah.
Yeah, I haven't heard a single thing about Alex Bregman. And honestly, when Bob Nightingale came on here, he said last year, Toronto, even though there were some reports, they were never actually in on Alex Bregman at all. Yeah. After the emergence of Addison Barger and Ernie Clement and various others in that infield, feels like even more likely that we're not going to be in on Alex Bregman at all this year. So I'm just not even thinking that he's on the board right now. I don't see Toronto going out and getting him.
Yeah, no, I agree. And actually, that brings up a good point I also want to make here, and it actually ties right into this report right here. There's a very big difference between being interested in a player and engaging with a player. Engaging with a player, you're going and you're talking to the agents, you're having meetings, you're having phone calls, conversations, emails back and forth. That's engaging, and you're actively going for it. Being interested, everybody's interested in everybody. I mean, any free agent I am interested in, like in some capacity, like even Adolis Garcia, I'm interested in him being a minor league player for my organization. You know what I mean? Like, there's a big difference. So there was an article out here by TSN saying there is a report that the Boston Red Sox are interested in Bo Bichette. I believe this came from WEEI's Rob Bradford. Reports that the team is interested in free agent infielder Bo Bichette. Now, some people were freaking out about this, like, oh my God.
Yeah, couple YouTubers out there losing their minds, thinking that it's time to hit the panic button. I think that's just ultimately a bunch of clickbait BS right there. Everyone is interested in everyone, and Boston would be pretty stupid to not be interested in Bo Bichette, because not only is Bo Bichette a great player, but for them, they would also be taking all of that WAR and all of those hits directly away from the Toronto Blue Jays and putting it straight into their lineup. Think about that trade-off, right? It's like, not only are you adding a good player, that good player is coming from a team that you happen to play 13 times a year and that you should theoretically be looking to beat, is the team to beat right now in your division. You've taken away that guy. So, of course, they are going to be interested. Are they actually going to get him? I don't know. I think that they have a shot. I think that Toronto is still certainly the favorite there, and I think that we will continue to be the favorite until proven otherwise. So I think Boston could do it, but if I had to, bet money, like Boston or Toronto, I still look at Toronto as being the squad right here to get back Bo Bichette.
You'd have to pay him a lot of money. I mean, even Drew Gamer here, why would Bo choose Boston? Actually, I just thought about it right here. Well, 81 games a year, I have a really big open right field that I love to slap the ball to. You know what I mean? You can make an argument for virtually anything, but I think at the end of the day, the best argument is money. And if they somehow just blew the door open with money and offered Bo Bichette way more than anybody else, including the Blue Jays, they need to go and sign with the Red Sox. Like, that's why he's a free agent, right? So, yeah, that's the latest on him. Like, there really hasn't been a whole lot. We talked to Bob Nightingale. There's a few teams that are, like, in his words, that are, like, pretty serious about engaging and talking to Bo Bichette. But obviously there's a whole league that is interested. Even the freaking Colorado Rockies.
And also as well, I see people saying, "Oh, where would he play? Where would he play?" Well, the latest on Bo is that teams are now no longer looking at him as a shortstop. That just came out the other day, that they're not looking at this current juncture of time. Teams are no longer thinking that this is going to be our shortstop for the future. This is going to be a second baseman. I think that Bo's going to come to terms with that. And I think that, should he go to the Boston Red Sox, he would not be their shortstop. They'd probably have to find a way to put him at second base. A little second base DH type of thing right there would have to go on with Bo Bichette. And ultimately, that's who he's going to be moving forward. Yeah. Should Toronto bring him back? I'm confident he's not going to be the shortstop anymore. They have Andres Gimenez. That would just be a really, really stupid thing to do. And after doing it, already ripping the Band-Aid off and doing it in the World Series, it's pretty clear that at this point, okay, well we're gonna go the whole 9 yards here. Should they bring him back, he would be the second baseman. Gimenez would be the shortstop, and that's just what it's gonna be.
Yeah, and I hope that he does come to terms with that, and I hope that the World Series made him see, like, dude, you could play second base and still be an impactful bat. Like I got that highlight of him hitting the 3-run homer. It's like you're not. Like, and I know he's old enough now to start seeing it. Like, dude, you're not the best shortstop. If you want to go back to the World Series, give your team the best chance to go play second. Like, I would love you more because you'd be selfless doing that. Like, to demand, and I don't think he's doing this. I don't think he's demanding shortstop. I think the organization was trying to make it happen. Now we're starting to come to terms with it. Now free agency's helping with it too. We got to move you over. We got better guys.
There's all this speculation on. Would Bo Bichette even be okay with that? Like, would he accept that? He hasn't said anything about anything.
He has never talked about wanting to play shortstop.
He literally has
like
never
ever.
spoken about it. And the only thing that we've actually seen is that in the one moment where the team needed him the most, he was willing to play second base. So I'm really not that worried at all about him, being okay with playing second base. I think he would understand. Yeah. It's like at the end of the day, the numbers between him and effectively any other serviceable good shortstop, there is a wild difference. And sorry, brother, but you have had a ton of reps there. This isn't a rep thing. You're not getting better at shortstop. We've probably already seen the ceiling of how good you could be, and at this point, I would anticipate it's going to be just getting worse as you're getting older. He's going to understand that. The only reason that he is going to be fighting to potentially play shortstop would be if there's a massive shift in monetary value between a contract for a shortstop and a contract for a second baseman.
And look, I think, like you said, like people aren't looking at him to be a shortstop. I think people are looking at him what he is. You are a great hitter. In fact, you're probably one of the best hitters in baseball. Like just pure talented hitters, not talking about home run balls or whatever. You're one of the best. You are. Like, I mean, I looked at it the other day. I forget what stat this was, but it was him and Judge. I believe it was like, contact or isolated slugging, whatever it might be. It's like he is just one of the most talented people in baseball, and it's not for the defense. And also, I want to throw this out here too, like anyone who thinks, and I want to like double down on this point, I feel like Bo Bichette's gotten a lot of bad rep over the years of being this like kid with an attitude. It looks like he doesn't give a fuck and blah blah blah. I genuinely think after getting to know like Keegan Massimore, him talking about Bo Bichette and hearing the reports like out of the clubhouse, he's just like a chill dude that doesn't talk a lot.
Like he's
just
goes
about his business.
Bro.
He's an introvert.
Yeah.
Like everyone like wants him to be like Vlad, where he smiles and dances and wears his emotions on his sleeves and whatnot. But it's like that's just Bo Bichette.
Yeah.
And we shouldn't expect anything more from him. And I don't think he's got an ego thing. And I think if you did say, hey, Bo, for the good of the team, you're gonna come back here, be Bo Bichette, be the best Bo Bichette hitter at the plate, but you're gonna play second baseman because we want Andres Gimenez short. He'd be like, cool. As long as I'm getting my money, I don't give a shit.
I mean, and Stanley's in here saying he's got too much of an attitude, and I would like, how do you know that?
How do you know that?
That's like maybe I don't know. Like I don't know, and I am genuinely wondering how do you possibly know that? Because the fact of the matter is, he rarely speaks. Because he doesn't like to speak very much.
Introvert.
He's just a shy guy that happens to be very good at hitting a baseball. Yeah. And then people like to read into that, and because you're not putting on, because you're not fucking entertainer of the year, you must be like a dickhead, or you got to have an attitude. No, he's just an introvert, guys.
Bo Bichette will never win entertainer of the year. I'm sorry, Bo.
Yeah,
he can't play short, but he also can't entertain. Damn it.
Yeah, I don't know if that factors into the contract at all, right there.
Yeah.
But Bo Bichette, he's a perfectly grounded individual. I think he's going to be fine about playing second base. Should the Toronto Blue Jays want him to do that, or whatever team, and I think that is ultimately what's going to happen with whomstever he signs for. I still think it's Toronto, but whomstever he signs for, I do think that he would be a second baseman.
Let's give a quick shout out here before we bring up some more free agent news and trade rumors to Sports Interaction. We actually don't have the script right here because we got locked out apparently. So sorry, help us guys. If the TNN, shout out to those guys. Help us get back in. But shout out to Sports Interaction guys. You're Canada's homegrown sports book. You can go make some live bets there. You can have easy cash deposits and withdrawals. So go check it out. If you're curious, this actually just opened up. If you're curious about who you could bet on for the next year's World Series, well, it's open right now, and looking at Blue Jays and Dodgers, who are the team that just did that, they obviously have like some of the better odds in terms of like actually happening. It's 31 times your money if you bet Blue Jays and Dodgers again. $5 would pay out to $155, but you can get absolutely crazy with it. Rockies and Rangers, $5 would pay out to what is that? $10, excuse me, would pay out to $37,600. Oh no, sorry, I'm parlaying it right
Oh,
here.
that's crazy.
That's why.
How you couldn't possibly parlay that.
No, I couldn't.
That
That wouldn't make any sense. But $5 turned into $37,505. So.
You just need to have the Rangers and the Rockies both go to the World Series. What's the craziest one?
This one's pretty crazy. Rockies and Rays is $87,000.
It's got to be like Rockies and who would it be? It would be Rockies and
what's a really bad?
A's?
Athletics. Yes. Okay, Nationals and Athletics would be again $5. Let me take all this
so
away.
It looks like they just max out at 10,000.
Yeah.
It looks like that's the max.
Yeah, because $5 would get $50,000 if you put Athletics and Nationals.
Yeah. Which you'd never get.
Never would do.
Because, let's face it,
Oh,
it
my
would
God.
never actually
Athletics
happen.
and Rockies. Yes.
Oh, okay. So that's the one.
This is $125,000. This has got to be the worst matchup. Yeah, for sure.
Yes. I can't possibly think of a worse NL team and a worse AL team.
Yeah, no.
Together.
I can't.
That would have to be there's also another 2,500 right there as well.
Where is
that would be?
Angels and Rockies. Oh, that's a good one.
Also pretty bad too.
Yeah, I think they're equally bad.
Equally never ever going to happen ever.
Yeah, well, guys, have fun with it. Download the app, guys, because as you can see, maybe you're cheering for from Athletics breakout, which I don't think is going to happen. They need a new stadium. If
Athletics and Rockies went to the World Series next year, I think I'd actually love it.
Me too.
I'd be perfectly fine. I'm be disappointed it's not the Jays, but at the end of the day, that would be fucking cinema.
Can you imagine an ALCS where it's like you're facing the Athletics?
Yeah.
Huh?
And then on the other side of things, it's Rockies Dodgers,
and the two underdogs win. That'd just be insane.
No, that would be pure insanity. Never gonna happen, but kind of want to see it happen one day. Mm-hmm. Let's transition a little bit and talk about this clip that's going semi-viral on social media. Blake Snell, I guess in his off time, he's like a Twitch streamer.
Yeah,
he games. And
oh yeah,
that's why everybody says he's so tired all the bloody time, because he's just gaming all the time. So he's got his little Twitch stream and whatever. Seen a lot of athletes start to do that. I just saw Cam Scataboo, who's out for the season. He shotgunned a beverage out of his...
like a monster or a rock star or something like that,
Shotgunned it out of his game-worn cleat. Because he hit 10,000 Twitch followers or anything. Either way, this is something that athletes are doing right now, and hell, if I had just the capability to do so, I'd probably also do it as well.
Yeah.
But on one of his recent streams, somebody made a comment about Vladdy, and the comment was, Vladdy is your daddy, effectively. Yeah. And Snell did not continue reading it. And then, in fact, he went on to say that he's in Cancun, taking a shot at Vladdy. And he's like, go pick him up, bring him this way. Now, I've seen the clip, and people are kind of losing their minds on it and whatever. I think it's fine.
Dude, it's fine.
It's fine. I don't listen.
You won the World Series. Yes, I know Vladdy kicked your ass, and that's fine, but you still won the World Series. You can say whatever you want. It's fine, guys.
Yes. I don't, and you know what? At the end of the day, someone in the chat set him up, saying, getting him to say Vladdy. No, look. He actually earned the right to say that Vladdy's in Cancun because that is actually what transpired. They did win, and then Vladdy actually went on a vacation. So credit.
Yeah, he did go to Cancun,
which he's allowed to do. He's allowed to do, right? But no, I don't. I think honestly, what was more. Maybe why this clip is getting some traction is because during the World Series, some of the shit that Blake Snell said in regards to some of the other hitters on the Toronto Blue Jays, I didn't agree with that when after he got shelled, and I think it was game 5 or game 4, game 5, whichever one it was, gets shelled and says, oh yeah, Vladdy's a good hitter, but the rest of the guys kind of got lucky. That was a little ridiculous.
Oh yeah, the David Steiner leadoff homer.
Yes.
Like that was lucky.
Yeah, and I mean, like, dude, well, that's back-to-back games that you know apparently we've gotten lucky against you.
Yeah,
this one's a kind of a nothing burger. So yeah, I see people in chat. Let Snell live his life. I think he can live his life. This is a free pass for him.
And I actually felt a lot for him because when he said that, like, he in Cancun, go pick him up, and then he immediately regretted it. He's like, oh no, don't clip it. No, let me live my life.
Yeah,
I'm like, yeah, like let him live his life, man.
It's also that happens. Listen, we're not at the same level of Blake Snell. We don't have the same follower or base as platform as Blake Snell does. But I fully understand. You know, you say something sometimes, and then immediately it's like, shit, why did I say that? I didn't mean that. You take it out of context, it's going to look really stupid. So he gets a free pass for me on that one.
Yeah.
And you know what? The fact of the matter is, Vladdy was elite in that series.
He was, man, and he knows it. Like, let's be real. He knows he got his ass kicked by Vladimir Guerrero
And I think
Jr.
actually he did come in and say afterwards, Vladdy had a great series. He had a great series, guys, which is very true. So
there you go.
honestly, like, kind of respect there for Blake Snell. I will allow that one.
We got a couple more just kind of like rumors and rumblings and people kind of like, pinning people to the Toronto Blue Jays potential free agents. You brought up a little bit earlier about Pete Alonso. Now, I believe his name is Jorge Castillo, lists the Blue Jays as a potential fit for the, Pete Alonso in free agency. States he could be a replacement right-handed bat if they're unable to sign Bo Bichette. Now, obviously, we've been down this rabbit hole before, and we've kind of floated the idea of Pete Alonso coming to the Blue Jays last year. And actually, there was a moment where we thought it was going to happen. Do you remember that? Like back in January, we were scrambling to go live because there was reports that he was about to sign the Blue Jays.
I actually kind of don't remember that one, but
we blocked it out of our memory.
Well, there's been so many of those that have happened. I know that we've been pushing the narrative that we think this year is going to be different, and that's because I do truly believe that's not me just like propaganding you guys here. Like, no, I actually do truly believe it. But if it's not, I'm going to be so disappointed. Like, if we get strung along again by some of the big free agents and then we don't end up getting them, I'm going to be blue balled to all holy hell.
I know. And again, like this one, and someone said this is nothing. There is nothing, like, strong here. It's just, like, someone just says, hey, the Blue Jays can go get this guy. And so we're just going to talk about it. Like, if the Blue Jays did fall back, if they didn't get a Bo Bichette, they didn't get a Kyle Tucker, would a Pete Alonso, I guess, signing make sense for this current Blue Jays team?
So here's the one issue. Vladdy is obviously the first baseman, and there's no argument to be made for Pete Alonso coming in here and taking anything away. Maybe the occasional day off his feet type thing, but ultimately it's Vladdy's bag, and that's just going to be the way of it. That would then force Pete Alonso to likely be the DH spot, but then you're running into the issue of, well, you still got Springer in there. You also got Anthony Santander. Is he going to need some DH spot? How are you? Like, there's just a lot of other individuals on this current team already that, you might want to be allotting that position to. Granted, Pete Alonso is also a very good baseball player.
He's much better. Yeah.
He's very good.
Than a lot of those guys.
And for me, I am never going to say, oh, don't get the 38 home run guy. Don't get the 144 OPS plus guy. Why would we want that?
Yeah.
No, you'd find a way to make it work. It would mean some shifting around of positions, and maybe it might even mean that somebody's got to start learning another position that they don't know or get in a spot that they're not comfortable with.
I think for the short term, it would be a big headache because you do have George Springer DHing, right? And then with Santander, I don't know if you guys remember this, but early on when he was struggling, he made it very clear because he was DHing quite a lot. He said, I want to play right field. He played a little bit of right field, had some good games, and if that's what makes you feel comfortable, okay, go play right field. And then obviously George Springer would be DHing. So I guess for this 1 year, hypothetically, if we had Pete Alonso, there would be a bit of a headache. Now, you could move Vladdy a third, and when last year we were floating the idea of getting Pete Alonso, we were talking about moving a third, but Vladdy's not going to really move in a third.
No,
I got Addison Barger playing third base.
I think Vladdy's the first baseman forever now.
Of course. But then again, if you were to, again, you had to force him in the lineup. Couple games, Vlad plays third. If Pete has to play first, you'll make it work for 38 home runs. You find a way to make it happen. But yeah, like for me, it would be fine. I would do it because then George is off next year. He's off the books. And then boom, problem solved. Then you don't have to worry about it, right?
Again, it's one of those things. Yeah, it feels hard to wrap your head around it, but he is just such a quality hitter that I think you'd have to figure out a way to do it. And they have also shown interest in him in the past. I think it's more on the unlikely side of things, and that is why you're hearing Kyle Tucker and Bo Bichette be the two guys that Toronto's looking the most at, because they do make the most sense, and it does mean make for the less headaches, I guess, if you will, for Toronto. Like it adds up. It's easy, it's simple. We can figure out how to do it. That being said, though, again, Pete Alonso, very good baseball player. Would be happy to have him. Yeah. Now, you brought up in that whole thing Anthony Santander. That's somebody that I've been forgetting about a little bit.
Oh, yeah.
What are your kind of just thoughts and expectations on Anthony Santander for 2026 at this point?
So actually, I think we did have someone submit a question. Yeah, it's by Nolan right here. I'll transition to our Q&A a little bit. We'll start sprinkling some questions here because I asked you guys for questions right off the top. Nolan literally asking, do you think Santander will be able to bounce back from a rough season and help the Jays in 2026? And look, if I've learned anything from my 27 years of life, and I guess 15, 16 years of watching baseball and playing baseball and whatnot, is that 1 year you could be complete wash because of injury or underperformance. The next year you could be just fine and back to where you were. Case is George Springer, Bo Bichette. They all bounce back, one from injury, one from old age and just not playing well.
Yeah.
So with Anthony Santander, I'm giving him a clean slate. Come back, get healthy. You didn't have a great season. You want to bounce back. You got options later on in your contract. You probably want to still, optimize on that and make a little bit of money. So you got to play well. So I think I would give him the opening day job if healthy and start every day and prove yourself why we signed you in the first place. So am I confident that it's going to happen? Honestly, I'm 50-50. Like, I don't really know. No one really knows. And yes, he had a bad year, but I also know the years before he was really, really good. So I'm going to just say I feel easy about it. I don't feel uncomfortable. I don't feel overly excited. I feel easy about it.
I think that there's a lot of comparisons that can be made between the year that Santander just had and the year that Bo Bichette had in 2024, where you're a very quality baseball player and you just, everything goes wrong for you. You're trying to play through injury the entirety of the season. That's just not going to work, man. And it's pretty clear and obvious that he was just hurt the whole time.
Yeah.
He was just hurt the whole time. So I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt, and I'm going to hope that 2026 will bring a lot more health for Anthony Santander, and hopefully if he is healthy and can get himself into the rhythm, which we know he's capable of, you will see a 30 home run hitter right there. That's my hope. I can't promise it to you. Right now, yes, I know the contract looks horrendous, but that's why you signed him for more than 1 year.
Yeah, and I think we deferred the money too. Like if I'm not mistaken, it's only like with deferrals, like $14 million per year.
I can't remember off the top of my head.
It's like really not that much. And obviously he robbed us last year, but that's not his fault. He was injured. Just get healthy, play every day. And there was like signs. I remember seeing it before he hit the IL for the entire year. Basically, there were signs of like, wow, that ball was absolutely crushed, just foul. Like so many times. Imagine if he straightens that out just a little bit, like how many more home runs he'd hit. Like just unbelievable amount. So get healthy, get right. And hopefully you could be good. Now, one more piece of interesting Blue Jays rumors, and this one actually has, again, I guess you could just put it the same weight as the Boston Red Sox being interested in Bo Bichette, but the Blue Jays are interested in Cody Bellinger and the Dodgers as well. I mean, why wouldn't you? I mean, the Blue Jays have also been interested in Cody Bellinger for a long, long time now. Every single offseason, it feels like they're constantly interested or connected to him, and that is according to Jeff Passan of ESPN. So Cody Bellinger, again, I'll say this year. I said it the previous years. Give me some Cody B, left-hander, first base, outfield option. Throw him out there. You'll always have it. Well, not always. He's now starting to round into shape. You know what he is. He's probably going to get you an 800 OPS because in the last 3 years, once he kind of got away from LA, he's been solid. He's had an 815 OPS in the 3 years. Hit 73 homers, 273 RBIs. Give me that guy if you really want. If you miss out on, the Kyle Tuckers and the Bo Bichette of the world.
Well, here's the question though. Who would you rather have, Bo Bichette or Cody Bellinger?
I'd still probably take my man Bo.
Still probably take Bo?
Camaraderie, yeah.
Okay, I get that. Yeah, because the reason that I bring that up is because as it stands right now, a lot of the contract predictions for Cody Bellinger are around the same as Bo Bichette. In fact, you're seeing a lot of people say, like this article right here is thinking that it's going to be 7 years, $182 million. Yeah. You have a couple other ones saying it could be around the 200, a couple others saying more like 160. So it's looking like it's going to be in the high $100+ million type range for 5 to 6 to 7 years type thing, which is roughly about what Bo Bichette is looking at making right now. The one thing I will say, I think I'd prefer Bo as well, but the one thing that I will say is that Cody Bellinger's defense is great.
Oh, it is
really good. And that's something that you're just never going to get from Bo. And I think about that outfield, and of course we have Dalton Varsho, which is awesome, but
one more year left.
One more year left right there. And then George doesn't really even play outfield anymore. And Anthony Santander, from my understanding of things, is not a very good defender either. So maybe they might look at that and go, hey, this guy is in the 93rd percentile in outs above average. And he's a pretty good bat. The bat's, like you said, last 3 years been about that 800 OPS, which is kind of where Bo Bichette lives as well.
Yeah.
There could be an argument there. I'm not saying that I would want it. I think I would still prefer Bo Bichette too.
Yeah.
But I could see an argument to be made where maybe that is the smarter direction.
Yeah, I agree. I think Bo Bichette as well. Lots of hits. This is what our team's based off of right now. Whereas I believe Cody B.
He's still good. He had
he's got a good K rate actually, a lot better.
Dude, he was very good last year. Cody Bellinger was very good last year. The one thing I think about Cody Bellinger, which is why I would be more interested in Bo, is that Cody Bellinger, his floor feels lower than Bo, and I say that knowing Bo Bichette had the 2024 season, and that was terrible. I'm chalking that one up to full injury. When Bo Bichette is healthy, we've actually just never seen him be bad when it comes to hitting the baseball. We have seen Cody Bellinger be bad before when he's healthy. He's he's further removed from that at this point, so you can talk yourself into the fact that maybe he's not that guy anymore. But I think that you're playing between the floor of Cody Bellinger and then also the defense of Cody Bellinger.
Give me the sure thing in Bo Bichette. Now, Superlink says Bo plus Bellinger or Tucker. Give me Bo plus Bellinger 10 times out of 10. Because there's actually arguments, people out there saying Cody Bellinger's year last year was probably better than Kyle Tucker's year.
It's close.
Last year,
it's debatable.
When you look at the WAR with the defense, when you look at the home run numbers, the OPS, there's the debate where Cody B was actually a little bit better. And so if you're gonna give me that plus Bo Bichette, 100%. We'd win the World Series.
Now, on that topic a little bit. So actually, last week we posted on our Instagram. If you're not already, go follow us on Instagram, guys. We'll kind of post out there, be like, hey, ask us some questions. That's where we get some of these questions. If you guys remember, the legend, the myth, the everything, Christine from Game 3 of the World Series at the bar, staying with us till 3 a.m. in the morning, effectively. She responded to that story from last week, except I didn't see it until later. And she goes on kind of a long-winded thing. I'll read it off to her. I promised her that I would ask it today. Now, I've kind of answered this personally, so I want this to be for you and also for the chat right here. I've seen your matchup between Tucker and Bichette, and I see statistically that Tucker might overall look more, I assume she means just better than Bo.
Yeah.
For me, and the view I had to the dugout from where I was standing in Game 7, and seeing Bichette embraced on, and days after where I watched the front view of what was happening in the dugout, Bichette goes to Vladdy to comfort him, goes somewhere that the camera can't catch, and then to Addison Barger and to David comforting them, and some more guys. Before what I saw with Don, Mad Max was injured mostly. Okay, she's going on about Mad Max. Either way, she's saying that he's a presence in the clubhouse. Saying that Bo Bichette is a presence in the clubhouse, and then she goes on to say that with a gun to my head, Bo Bichette over Tucker, and asks us, what are your thoughts? Now, I've said Tucker over Bo Bichette because I think that Tucker is just genuinely the more complete baseball player, and I think that when you have a chance to get that guy, you do it. And I know that there's camaraderie there, and I do love I love Bo Bichette, but at the end of the day, Tucker is a special talent. Do you feel that way, or do you kind of live with where Christine is at this current juncture, where it's the camaraderie is more important?
I weigh that camaraderie when it comes, like I said before. I think the Blue Jays are going to prioritize Bichette over Tucker because of the camaraderie. Like, they know how much he means to this clubhouse, and what got them to the World Series was not only their great play with the bats, he was also part of that too, but also how well they gelled together. And it would feel, from an outsider looking in, different, kind of replacing a guy who's been there the entire time with a dude. It's like, he's never been here. He doesn't know what it's like to go through all this stuff with this group of dudes. He doesn't know the inside out story. And I'm sure he would gel fine. From a statistical standpoint, I'm always taking Tucker over Bo. That's just the reality of the situation. So I see where you're coming from. I'm still taking Tucker over Bo. A long answer to make it short. I'm still doing that because of the stats. But you can't deny the feeling that you had when you saw Bo Bichette hit that 3-run homer, hugging Dong Mattingly at the end of the game there when he was this close to winning World Series, going off camera like Christine was saying. You can't deny that. That's what makes that team so special.
Right.
It's almost their superpower, and keeping him there honestly makes it even more attractive to other people. People want to join that. So taking him away from that core would hurt a lot. It's hard to weigh that feeling to stats. Like, there almost needs to be a stat, kind of like WAR, to compare these two different things that matter. So it's tough to say, but I would still take Tucker over Bo.
I would still taking Tucker over Bo as well, guys. I mean, look, I think it's because it's Bo, and it's because he's been here for a long time that we're even having these conversations. But Tucker is really good. He's really, really damn good at baseball. And for that whole camaraderie thing, he'll make friends. The lads will go get some beers at the pub in spring training, and then they'll all be tight, and everything will be good. And he already knows George, and he already knows Miles Straw, and I'm sure that he's got some type of relationship with some of them. And look, this is not something new, okay? This happens in sports. Freddie Freeman felt like he was going to be an Atlanta Brave to the day that he died. He went to the LA Dodgers. They got Matt Olson. Everyone was fine for it. So I think, honestly, you go out and you get Kyle Tucker, you don't think twice about it. But again, would be very happy to see Bo Bichette come back as well.
Sebastian in here is saying it's the same logic as Teoscar and Lourdes. They broke it up. Guess what happened then? The camaraderie was all over the place.
Camaraderie was all over the place.
It was like, what's going on? We don't feel right.
Camaraderie was all over the place. I don't think it's necessarily the same thing, but yeah, that was weird though. Okay, that was weird. To trade both of them like that, just bang, bang, I think that was a bad move. I think that was a bad move.
In hindsight, 2020 it was, because you didn't look the same for the next 2 years.
No, that was a bad move. I don't think that that's the same thing as letting a player walk in free agency, though.
Also, to jump off that and kind of change topics just a little, Eric Swanson retired the other day.
I know.
So we can officially talk about that Teoscar trade.
Yeah. Well,
I'd say
I don't know, man.
It's an L.
I think it's an L when you think about everything that did happen. Like, ultimately, why did we also trade? I always come back to this. Why did we also trade Lourdes in the same offseason that we traded Teo? That was stupid.
No, we really
wanted to give up that offense right there. And then what happened the following year? The offense was bad.
Yeah.
The offense was really bad. However, when you just think about the Teo trade, it ended up being, because he had 1 year left on his deal, and Seattle had who knows what he would have done in Toronto. Maybe his numbers would have been different. Yeah. But he had a mediocre year in Seattle. Teoscar Hernandez did. And Eric Swanson had a very good year in Toronto. And then after that very good year in Toronto, he no longer had good years.
Yeah.
And he wasn't very good. So
yeah, I mean, again, what you were hoping for was him to continue to be good for a few more years. Like, that would be the win, right? Like, oh yes, 1 year of Teo, give that up for maybe 3 great years of Eric Swanson.
You got one.
You got one good year. Yeah, again, I know you hate WAR, but 2.3 WAR, even on his bad year in that Seattle year. And then the year that he was good, he had 1.5. And you're like, okay, great, this is a good start. We're on our way to win. And then he actually
hurt the team.
Really hurt the team the second, the second and third year. So that's why I'm saying L. Unless Adam Macro comes out of the woodworks and is like amazing and like makes up for all that, it's an L. It was an L. But that's nice to review. It's nice to review at the end of the day what they've done overall.
Yeah, probably in hindsight a bit of a loss right there. Yeah. But It's not the biggest loss of all time.
Yeah, like, I like the decision.
And we still need, at the time, we really needed bullpen. And Eric Swanson played a crucial role in because now, if you really want to get deep with it, well, would we have, because correct me if I'm wrong, we still made playoffs in 2023.
That was the year, yeah.
We still made playoffs in 2023. Would we have made playoffs without Eric Swanson out of that pen, but with Teo in the lineup? I don't know. Who knows what would happen, right? Impossible to say.
The offense did need help that year.
It did, but the bullpen also did too. It's one of those things where it didn't go as well as it could have. We'll definitely say that.
Yeah, but guys, that's all the kind of updates and rumblings. Now we're going to kind of transition and answer your questions. So if you submitted a question, stick around because we could be bringing it up right here, and we're going to talk about more about Blue Jays free season trades and some ideas from you guys. This one comes in from Amy. Amy saying, "Hi guys, just wanted to say that I love the show and the content you guys put out on a regular basis. Thank you, Amy. We really appreciate when people recognize that. Just wondering if you were Ross Atkins / Mark Shapiro, here's the GM hat, knowing how close the Jays were to winning the World Series, how would you approach this offseason? Would it be to continue the measured, set valuations approach to free agency and trade since it seemed to work out last year? Or would you prefer to go in spending an uncomfortable amount of money in order to lure free agents north? Or would it be a hybrid of the two? I'm also wondering which players you would love to see in a Jays uniform next year, either free agency or trade." So thank you, Amy, for your question. I actually love that question. What would your approach be this offseason if you were GM?
Uncomfortable money. Uncomfortable money. I want more. I want to feel uncomfortable.
Yep. I think so too. That'd be my approach. And Aaron Ben Rose actually brought up a really great point where it's like when you watched, Mr. Rogers, that reaction to the loss of the World Series, that guy probably wants to go and get uncomfortable with
Aaron Ben Rose. I brought that up, brother. That was me. That was me.
Oh, you brought. Oh, yeah. My bad. He probably wants to get uncomfortable with it a little bit. Well, so he's probably going to fuel the fire. And the Blue Jays have always had this set valuations because they probably had a set budget. Now Ed Rogers probably going to lift off that set budget and say, "Hey, dude, this is our window." It is. Literally, we still got a lot of guys coming back. Go get it done. Build a dynasty here. I want to see us back in the World Series in the next couple years.
So the thing that Adam's referring to right there is it's the reaction. They had a camera on Edward Rogers and the ownership of the Toronto Blue Jays, and I believe it was in Game 6 when Addison Barger hit the ball that ended up being lodged. And at that, I couldn't find the clip. I was looking for the clip for a while there to see if I could make a short on it. Couldn't find it anymore. But there was a clip out there, the reaction, and the whole ownership group just loses it, thinking that they won the World Series. And then you see the reaction of, wait, what the fuck just happened? We didn't?
Yeah.
And in that one moment, you just see this overwhelming sense of disappointment and pain. And I think that if I was a billionaire like those guys up there, I would pay an exorbitant amount of money to never feel that one feeling ever again.
100%.
Where the rug gets fully pulled out from underneath you. You think you did it. We did it. We finally did it. And then, seconds later, it's disbelief and frustration and heartbreak. And I'm spending all the money in the world to never feel that again.
And also I'm thinking from a business standpoint, it'd be not smart to not invest back into this team. This is something that's growing. It's got momentum. It's got legs. And to not put money back into it after all the money you just made would be a bad decision, in my opinion. You have now new fans. You're setting records television-wise for the Blue Jays World Series games. Time to go back in and get them excited again. Here's your new juicy Kyle Tucker and Ranger Suarez, and Bo's back. That's the story.
Yeah.
Get people excited back in this team.
Of course.
Because Toronto's been waiting for this for a long time.
What happens when a movie is really successful?
They make
a sequel. They make the sequel, right? And that's what just happened. The movie just happened. It was a successful film, and now you make a sequel. And when the sequel comes out, what does the sequel usually have? More explosions, more stars,
more budget.
It's usually
bigger
a fucking
budget.
Bad movie at the end of the day, but hopefully that's not going to be the case. They put more money into it. They put more money into the sequel, and we just got to hope that that's what's going to happen here with the Toronto Blue Jays. Now, we see Emerson Hale in here with a donation, $2 donation. Thank you very much. But I'll be honest, I don't actually understand what it is that you're referring to here.
World Series hats they wore. The white panels.
Unrelated white panel hats default.
Yeah, did we default to the white panels for the regular season?
Oh, I get you.
Why not? Fuck it. I mean, maybe they retire it because it was that run, but I think they look awesome. I think they should wear them more, to be honest.
They did look very cool, yeah. But yeah, I do wonder, is that the playoff vibe?
Exactly. That's what I mean.
Do we save that for then?
Exactly.
I don't know.
We'll see.
Just a thought.
We'll see. We got another question here from Regis saying, although seeing them go would hurt, would you consider selling high on one of Ernie Clement, Nathan Lucas, or Miles Straw? Interesting question.
I would consider selling high on anyone whose name is not Vladimir Guerrero Jr. Like I will always feel that way. And if you think that you can go and you can actively acquire a really elite other player with, if Ernie Clement's part of that deal, then Ernie Clement's part of that deal. Now it would require a really elite player, Paul Skeens. You know what I mean? Like if it's Ernie Clement in our top 3 guys in our system for Paul Skeens, I know that Ernie just set the playoff record, but I mean, sorry, dude, like. Things will have to be made now, but understanding that it would have to be, now that he's done that, the price has gone up.
It's
gone
high.
up at this point. He's a good player. He's a really good player.
He got 5 WAR last year. Like, that's crazy, and his contract's great. It's super cheap. Like, I don't even know when the frick I think he's hitting ARB this year, I believe. It's unbelievable. So yeah, like I would sell high. I'm with you on any of these guys. It all depends on the price tag.
Exactly. You have to get somebody back that's very good.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm not actively being like, oh, we have to get Nathan Lucas off of this roster.
I wouldn't be laterally trading them, because I'm looking at the Blue Jays roster. Like trading Ernie Clement for, let's say we do get like a pitching version of Ernie, middle of their career, late breakout, solid guy, you happy fill it out. I feel like, again, like, I wouldn't laterally move that way because of how much he means to this team, the camaraderie. Like, I want to keep that, right? But unless it's a package, like you're saying, to get something better.
Yeah, exactly. You get something better, and they look at Ernie Clement as being an everyday star player for them, which he is. Yep. Right? That would be, you put that guy, you play that guy every single day. If they look at him that way, I mean, look, if the Toronto Blue Jays could finagle something where they trade and then immediately extend Tarek Skubal, and Ernie Clement has to be part of that deal, he has to be part of that deal, right? That's just the way of it. But no, I'm certainly not actively shopping him. If the price is right, then okay, anyone who's not named Vladimir Guerrero Jr., even Trey Savage, like anyone who's not named Vladimir Guerrero Jr., if they're going to come and they're going to call you about Paul Skeens, then you're going to take that call, and then you're going to think about it.
Think about who they traded last year that we were kind of feeling good about going into 2025 was Spencer Horwitz. That was like our one other good bat other than Vladimir Guerrero Jr. in 2024. We traded him away for Andres Jimenez. And we moved that asset, and at the time we were like, oh shit, like we kind of want to watch Spencer Horwitz. Now, a year removed, I don't feel any ways anymore.
I know. Listen,
crazy.
We would have had people with pitchforks and torches at our doorstep should we have ever even flirted with the idea of selling high on Alec Manoa back in the day. He doesn't play in MLB anymore. No. Things change, and next year,
for the better and for the worse.
Exactly. Like maybe we revisit this conversation next year and we look like complete idiots, or maybe it's really smart because Nathan Lucas isn't as good anymore, and we should have sold high. Hindsight will always tell, but I think you take the call on anyone whose name isn't Vladdy. That's it.
Right. That's right. All right, we got one more question here from Hunter Bell saying, how do you think the starting rotation is going to end up looking in 2026? Interesting question. So also with that, I guess like we had to predict, who are we signing back in for next year? What do you think the rotation is going to look like next?
So
I'm going to bring it up.
If you could bring it up, that'd be helpful. We could visualize it a bit more. We were talking with Bob Nightingale. If you haven't already watched that podcast, I highly recommend that you do so. He was very insightful as to where the Toronto Blue Jays he believes they are right now. I asked him about Max Scherzer. I asked him about Chris Bassett. He's thinking Max Scherzer is going to move on. I also felt that way previously, and then he just kind of further solidified it for me. He did say that there is a better chance than Max Scherzer for Chris Bassett to come back, but also didn't seem overwhelmingly confident that was going to happen either. I personally think that they're looking at an upper echelon starting pitcher here, and probably going to be flirting with the idea of bringing in a Ranger Suarez, bringing in a Michael King, maybe a Dylan Cease. One of those guys I think is going to come here. I don't know exactly which one it's going to be. Maybe Zach Gallen as well. They've shown interest in Zach Gallen before. Could they go out and sign him? He's a free agent. And I think that you get one of those individuals, and then that's probably what you're going to rock with, because then you're going to have 6 guys in there that you feel relatively good about. Eric Lauer, I don't think that he should automatically be demoted to the Swiss Army knife role, but should you want him to do that later in the season, well, you certainly have that opportunity. So you'd have 6 guys at that point who you feel nice about, who you can walk in, and then you'd go and you'd fill out the bullpen a bit more.
Yeah. Honestly, I think the rotation looks very similar to the rotation right now, other than Eric Lauer. I think we signed one of the big boys, and knowing Blue Jays are going hard and in for pitching, I know we haven't talked about pitching too much in this show, but I really do think they're going to prioritize getting a pitcher because they went fast last year. So I think because they are the Toronto Blue Jays and they are earning the reputation of a team that is obviously has spent and is a good place to play, I think they're going to get Ranger Suarez, the lefty, one of the best lefties you could argue off the board in free agency. I think they're going to get him down, be that Kevin Gausman replacement, and the rotation will be Ranger Suarez, Kevin Gausman, Trey Savage, Shane Bieber, and then Jose Barrios starting as the 5th man for the year. And then, you never know what could happen if he's going to, if he starts underperforming, then Eric Lauer comes in, maybe they get Bassett back. But I think we're not too far off from this team looking complete already. It's getting Bo back. It's getting one more guy like that, getting one more guy in the bullpen, and then a couple complementary pieces to fill out the bench and the depths of the bullpen. Then you're done. Like, that's it. That's all you need to do for the Blue Jays this offseason.
You need one more solid dart throw in the starting rotation, because I like it right now, but I don't love it right now. If you did bring in one more elite level individual, now I'm starting to feeling good. Now I'm feeling like you can weather the storm a little bit better, because there's going to be underperformances. There's going to be stuff that we don't expect. Is Trey Savage going to be a world beater in his second season ever? I don't know. You don't know.
Don't know.
I feel I like the upside, but also wouldn't be shocked if now the league has figured out what your splitter looks like, and we're never going to swing at it again. And maybe that happens. I'm not sure. Jose Barrios has not been looking very good recently. Is he going to fall off the table, or is he going to bounce back? Tough to say.
We don't know.
Bring in somebody like Ranger Suarez or Dylan Cease or what have you. Have just one more additional, almost sure thing. And yes, now I am feeling a lot better about that starting rotation. I still think the bullpen needs help, and that will inevitably help the rotation as well, because, you maybe don't have to pitch these guys as long as you like, and the bullpen a little bit earlier. So that's how I would do things. One more elite pitcher, couple bullpen guys. Hopefully one of them is named as Edwin Diaz, and then also bring me Kyle Tucker, and I will be ecstatic.
Yeah, listen, we don't know what's going to happen. We don't know how people are going to play. People could be doing better than they did last year. People could be doing a lot worse than they did last year. But all I know is that, this roster is a couple more signings away from having a lot of great, like you said, dart throws or roll of the dice. I really like this team. I like where they're at. And hopefully soon with the winter meetings coming up, I believe in a few more weekends from now, we should be getting a lot more answers, and hopefully we get someone by then. That'd be real nice.
Also, I'm very confident they will get a starter as well, folks, because when you think about next year, Kevin Gausman's off the books, Shane Bieber's off the books, Jose Barrios could be off the books. You have a lot of turnover, right?
You need one.
So do you want to leave yourself that much work next year? Probably not.
No.
That would be a lot. That'd be a lot of work to do. That'd be a crazy offseason.
Sign 2 guys. I don't care. Okay, Jose Barrios in the pen. There you go. Who wrote that? Like Steve Phillips or something like that? There you go. He's in the pen now.
Whatever.
I don't care. Win a World Series. I genuinely don't care. All I want to do is get back to the World Series. It's been a few weeks right now, and I'm ready to go back to the World Series.
I'm ready to go back, man. Shout out to Dave Post right here. What's up, guys? Let's get a transaction this weekend. I got to imagine that things are gonna start going soon. Winter meetings are roughly 2 to 3 weeks away at this current point, and even though that's when things really get cooking, I wouldn't be shocked at all if some people kind of beat the market a little bit, and they're like, we don't want this guy to get to winter meetings, because if he gets to winter meetings, maybe things are gonna start maybe some other offers are gonna come in here. Let's get our guy right now.
Let's get Bo Bichette this next week. Let's
get
get 'em.
it done,
Let's get 'em.
dusted,
And then
and
we're
the
chill.
offense is chill,
Yeah.
and now it's like, let's get another pitcher. That's
Yeah.
what we'll look at.
Yeah, and then like if you want to f- around and get someone else as well in that offense, like go ahead, be my guest. Like again, because now I'm thinking about it too. Like there's gonna be turnover in Dalton Varsho. There's gonna be turnover in George Springer. Like that outfield gonna be looking kind of weak, after 2026. So Tucker Bellinger, why not, guys? We gotta go win the World Series, but that is the Blue Jays Today show this Friday. As you guys know, we're doing this every single Friday at 6 p.m. And of course, we're coming out with podcasts every single day during the week. And Nick's got a video coming out tomorrow talking about some unexpected or probable free agent signings.
More realistic
More
signings,
realistic.
because again, we're consistently talking about Tucker and Bo. There's other guys on the market that are really good, and we're
dudes.
kind of flying under the radar here. And I'm honestly surprised they're flying under the radar. So we'll talk about a couple of those individuals tomorrow morning.
Yeah, guys, make sure to hit that like button, smash that subscribe button. It's only $4 a month to become a YouTube member like Dave Phillips. Shout out and thank you to all of our YouTube members. You guys are awesome.
Thanks so much for watching, everybody. And as always, go Jays, go!